I can roll my
This is the
ankle
map.
just stepping off the porch out of try to put on ice skates.
And I'll go over how we go down the line for them, but it's.
Yeah, I just got my taxes from Mound City in my mailbox.
I haven't compared them to last year, I got mine, I haven't looked.
Way more than my Johnson County
Don't
home.
look. I did too.
Because
It all goes on the escrow, so I don't pay attention.
Yeah, no,
I'd like to know where,
Well, I was looking, so my brother-in-law bought some property at the auction, so he got his too. And I was looking at, you know, the percentages and stuff that each part got. And some of that, the school was a good chunk of
the
it.
school,
I
every,
know.
the school is.
school, cemetery tax, hospital tax.
Yeah.
Now, first of all, why am I getting school tax? My kid, I've got 8 out of those are gone.
And even if you get still have your kids, you have
Yeah,
to pay school
I
tax,
have
plus
no
you gotta pay
kids
enrollment
right here.
fees and everything else.
And
I
I'm not
stole
gonna
them.
use the
Oh, okay.
cemetery. I doubt I'm gonna use their hospital, so I don't know why I'm paying all the taxes and the rates seem for that.
We don't even have a hospital.
To the tune of almost $4,000.
We've got a clinic. Yeah, I think if you break that down, I think on mine, if I did look at it right, I think the city only gets like 3%.
Yeah, the city was not, yeah.
on my largest one, which is $825 on the, for each, because I get separate lots, $25 of it goes to the city.
Yeah.
800 of it goes to the state.
I'll have to,
county.
when I get
Mostly
home,
school.
I'm gonna look
It's
at
mo-
it.
It's mostly school.
What?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm gonna look at it when I get home,
It's
and
a
break it all
workshop.
down, but for half a year it was 1,900.
Don't need a quorum or anything.
And then my other lot was,
So you take it's less than, yeah, less than 3%.
Yeah.
Okay, all right, so everybody knows, not only did we not have responses, but we called every council person, so, the attempt was made for the workshop. I'm not canceling the workshop. Joey has come in-house to help us understand a more affordable way to, pay for this water project. Okay, to just give everybody an idea, this workshop is about the water, okay, the water project only. Okay, Austin Masters of Southeast Kansas Midwest Assistance Program, yeah, please slide up. Actually, Joey slide over and let him
Yeah.
slide into your seat.
Get out of the way, Joey.
Austin came in
Sounds like my
originally
wife.
over $80 per bill, okay? There was somewhat of a disagreement on my part. Joey, with the same information, as we were talking, he came back with a high bill also. So Joey and I took the opportunity to sit down, he came in-house, we talked about this, and I showed him what I was looking at and how I was thinking this. So with that, we've put this under $65, okay, for a user rate. And Joey's here tonight to explain to us, you know, how we've derived at this $65, when what we did was flip of a coin. Joey lost, I won, so.
So I have to explain his numbers.
No, really, thank you very much, Joey, for helping us with this.
Easy
because
enough.
we
This
were-
is- I do
even
these
our
all the time.
Even our engineers had us at the upper $70 range for this project, so.
So here is, if you look at your sheet, hopefully our water connections are gonna stay at 830 or more. Chief, do you have one? Yeah, good, you've got it. That's it, that's what I want. I just wanna make sure everybody's on the same page. So 830 connections, that's a fixed, somewhat fixed, hopefully growing number. It's amazing how much it's grown in the last 5 years. I think we started at 500. I mean, it's remarkable. Other fixed costs, our other fixed numbers is the debt service. We know what the debt service is gonna be, we know what the interest rate is, and we know what the years are gonna be. So that's going to be $496,912. That's, you know, I'll be within a few pennies of USDA, but that is the debt service. That's the annual debt service for 40 years. Gallons purchased, I used 24 million gallons. And that's an easy number because that's what your contract says. You have to take $24 million, whether you use 24 million or not. Well, you're using more than that now. So that's an easy number. We know what the cost of water is. So if we just take it down the line, and by the way, those you can see under anticipated annual expense, and then there's those numbers to the side. You can ignore those. Those are my notes that were not supposed to be on there. I'll explain them later, but right now we'll just go straight down the line. So our annual bond payment, $496,912. Annual operations, that is the maintenance of the system. It should not be very high because this is a brand new water distribution system. So now, that's a wild card in that could change. In 5 years, in 10 years, you could have line breakage, you could have all sorts of things. That's going to be where your adjustments are more than anything else on the planet. Cost of water purchased, and this includes hauled gallons, $156,720. Now, your cost next year is going to be $6.23 a thousand. Let's see, $6.23 a thousand. If I do the math and I just divide it out, that means next year you'll take 25,155 gallons. So that's what that number is to the right. Not that anybody cares. That's just gallons. And I was just checking numbers. So if you're taking 24 million, you're purchasing 25 million. That extra $1.5 million or million one is hauled water. So those numbers look good. So looking at our annual expenses, we're at $703,632. So the next we have to think about is how are we going to pay for it? We have to cover $703,632. So what we did is we said, okay, if we take income from monthly water rates, and this is where we differed from Austin Midwest Assistance. They said, okay, the average user uses X amount, and that's what we're going to do. Well, that's fine, but I don't care what the average user uses over a 12-month period. I care about the people that are here all the time. So we said we're going to set the average at 3,000 gallons. That's typical across Missouri and Kansas. So 3,000 gallons is very reasonable. The state of Kansas will say use 5. Well, I hate 5 because 5 raises the rates too much. 3 is an easy one. Unless you have daughters, 3 is an easy number to hit every month. If you have daughters, just quadruple it. And I have daughters. So if you take the income, the cost of water, and I'm going to hit my thumb so I can do this as we talk. I guess I can do it right on my machine. If you take 830 customers, which is, and you multiply it times 12 months, and you multiply it times $45, straight math. That $45 is your basic fee for 3,000 gallons. That gives you the $448,200. The hauled water, Lou gave me $58,800. That's for the hold and haul water. And so income from your monthly meter, there's a monthly meter fee of $20. Well, very straightforward. That math also is straightforward. You take the 830 times $20 times 12 months, and that gives you $199,200. You'll notice our total income is $706,200, which covers our $703,000. Adding those up, meter fee plus water rate for the first 3,000 gallons of $45 gives you the base fee for 3,000 gallons of $65. Now, every 1,000 gallons after that, if you're online, you can make it $10. You can adjust it any way you want, but you can make it $10 1,000 thereafter. People use more than 1,000 gallons, and so that additional 1,000 will be additional income. You'll have to pay $6.23 for each additional 1,000 over the 24 million, but that a little bit of additional income will give you what's called coverage. USDA wants to see for every dollar of debt after expenses, $1.10 coming in. And so hopefully that will generate, and because USDA owns it, I don't care if we hit the coverage. I want to hit the coverage. In fact, I want you to have for every dollar of debt, I'd like you to have $1.25 coming in. But right now, to start off, I'd like to just bring in enough to possibly hit that coverage number. But at this point, this is kind of where the rates are. Coverage is requested by USDA, but your bond is a GO. It's secured by taxes, even though it's paid back by water revenues. So again, it's secured by taxes, meaning you have the authority to raise taxes. But you've chosen to use water revenues, fee revenues, to pay for this. You can change that anytime you want. If all of a sudden we come in and in 5 years you have, that 50,000 in operating turns into 250,000, you might think, looks like we're going to have a little property tax, and try to give the school district a run for their money. You'll never catch them, by the way. So that is, the math should be very straightforward for everyone. It really is as simple as saying, I take the number of connections times 12 months times the $45, and that will give you that first number. The next one is water hauled, and Lou gave me that number. It could be up or down, but that's the 56,000's a good number.
I think it's low.
Yeah. So
I think it's low. Keep in mind, this number represents a hold and haul of about 3 million over 3 million gallons. Okay, the water plant made over 6 million gallons last year. So they estimate that half of that was used for the hold and haul would probably be a fair estimation. So I say that that's probably low. The other thing I'd like to add to complement what Joey's saying is that the first note's not going to come due for a year. So the city will have a year of experience, to go. We've done it, we've hit that number and we've done that. Or to come back to Joey even sooner than 5 years, which I don't know that will ever be the case.
2 months, or
Yeah.
if all of a sudden you're not hitting, call me up. We'll go over the numbers, and 6 months is about the minimum you want to look at.
Yeah.
But if 6 months, if Mindy calls and goes, man, this just isn't cutting it because we're doing X, Y, Z, and I'll say, where's the warranty if you're fixing pipes too much? But we can do 6 month adjustments. You can do quarterly adjustments if you wanted, but you want to be able to see the income, you want to be able to see the expenses. So 6 months, pretty easy to say, okay, this is our 6 months, double it, that's a full year, are we going to make it? If all of a sudden we're way off on something, then we can adjust. You have the option to assess per lot, an assessment per lot of all of them. That isn't attractive to anybody, but you do have that option. And you also have the option of levying a small tax on everyone. When you have taken on a huge amount of debt, you've taken on a huge project, and it increases the value of every single lot, even the ones that were bought at auction. I bought a few lots at auction years ago. But it increases everybody's value. So even if they're not on water, and they will complain, well, I don't know why I'm paying any taxes, I don't get water. Well, you're not paying any taxes because you're paying taxes because having access to water makes your lot more valuable. And you will see development because they now have water and sewer. It's the exact same thing for sewers. So I knew this was going to be a short meeting because the numbers very much fall straight down the line. So are there any questions on how we came about any of these numbers?
No, What will need to happen is that, in the, December meeting, Mindy will prepare this. This has to be accepted and approved by a resolution within the ordinance. Okay, if you'll read the ordinance indicates where you have to set resolutions. This is one that will set, the city will set a resolution for this next month if we have a quorum. If we don't have a quorum, it'll be left to the new government in January to pick up where we've left off. And I think that you guys should be able to define it, explain it well enough. But Joey, you guys rely on Joey. Count on Joey, ask him questions. If you disagree with Joey. I mean, that's where we got
That's
today.
what Lou argues with me all the time.
So this $65, and that's what the projected cost for each person's
Yes.
water bill each
Each
month.
user, yes, sir.
That's,
From the city.
and it's really, that should be thought of as, if I use 2,000 gallons, I'm still getting a $65 bill.
Yeah.
That's because your minimum use is 3,000 gallons. When you get more connections, you can adjust that down.
Right, right. The
So-
more, the
Right.
less it becomes, the more,
Yeah.
okay.
So for
That's why growth has always been so important to me, is because with more users, more slices in the pie.
Right.
Each person gets a smaller slice.
Well, ask Robert how much he spends a month now.
I spend more than that now.
I spend $140 a month for 2,000 gallons, in and out.
What do you get your water from the POA?
Golden Hall, yeah.
They have to haul in the tank?
Yeah.
Okay.
And it's
so
$70 for 2,000
I'm on
gallons.
POA water. Some people are on rural water number one, but I'm on POA water. I'm not sure how many gallons. I just text my wife to check to see. I think it's roughly around a couple of thousand gallons a month. And my bill on average with the POA is about $65.
I use about 1,500 gallons a month, on average. So, this is slightly higher for me, but I will probably also use more water. I won't ration it the way I do today. The only question I have on the 3,000 gallons is the folks that live in campers don't even use 1,000 a month.
Yeah.
Some of them.
If they have a meter, well,
Yeah, but
but
I'm
think
just-
in terms of the value, the same as if Robert was living in a camper and had that tank, the same would be, everyone's gonna have a different offset. My water bill ran me $32 this month.
Okay.
Okay, my water bill is gonna double. It's not gonna work in favor of everyone. Some of us are gonna, pay more. However, what all of us will receive is better quality.
Yeah.
That's what I was
water.
gonna ask
And if-
too.
if
Is
they're
the
in a
water
camper
quality
now-
gonna be better? Because
If they're in a
quite
camper
frankly,
now
I,
at Golden Hall,
yeah.
and if you actually look at the map where most of the water lines run, a vast majority of those people in campers are not going to get a meter.
Yeah. Well, I know some that are, but that's,
Yeah.
but I also think that, as we see some of this stuff happening maybe, and those folks in the camper are using 500 gallons a month, and the people, that are using 5,000 gallons a month, we're getting extra money off them, we might be able to come back and adjust that down even after we've got some data.
As
You
long as you
absolutely-
cover your debt,
Right.
Yeah,
You
that
can do
is-
that.
You absolutely, and I have to emphasize that this board, if you set it up ahead of time, if you understand the numbers ahead of time, and if you stay on top of it, look at it monthly, and think, okay, our income is X, we're coming in, our expenses are Y, we're covering those, we're getting along okay.
And I wouldn't panic till September,
Right,
because your summer months, you're going to have all the
Right.
part-timers down here that are going to,
yeah, and
Well,
just.
once we have a good year of data, then we know something.
It's, if you ignore it, that's when you run into trouble. That's when you'll stub your toe. If it feels uncomfortable, pick up the phone and call. I'll come up and we'll go through the numbers. We'll go through a month. And maybe we'll adjust. It doesn't matter. We can do it.
Here's
we can do
another
it every
great
month.
value for the future. As of right now, the Department of Agriculture reports to us that we have 34% of our water that's unaccounted for. We have no idea where it goes. We know it gets used, but it's 30 to 34% has been unaccounted for the last 5 years. So for the first time,
So that's purchased.
we'll be
and-
accounting for water, and
amazing.
we'll no longer, it'll no longer be fictitious.
Some of that is because if you go to the POA and you order 2,000 gallons, you get charged for 2,000 gallons, even if they only put 900 gallons in your tank. So it comes out as 2,000
Yeah.
gallons, but there's 1,100 gallons that's unaccounted for.
Right.
There is the S-turn right there by my house that I'm sure about 300 gallons gets spilled on a daily basis.
I've seen them go down the street,
So,
after
just
filling
saying.
somebody's tank and just empty their tank as they go down the road.
Just pour
And in the
money.
winter, it's really nice on that S-turn when they drop that water right there
It's not
by.
exact, because they don't have meters on those trucks. They go by
Yeah.
a stopwatch, basically.
So the bottom could be 2027 pro forma. That last table is just how things would look. You would have income, you would have expenses before depreciation, then you would have net available to pay your debt, which happens to be just about what your debt is. And that's how you'll look at it. That's how your audits will show up. Your expenses will be broken out more, your income will be broken out more, and these will be the net numbers for you.
Yes.
So it should be.
And our Holden Hall numbers up until June will probably be very low. Once the service is all in and people are on meters, and then you'll hit June and all of a sudden they'll quadruple and you'll be like, where the, so all the people that came down for the summer that have still on Holden Hall because they're still in campers on a tank.
The water we're getting is coming from Lacey, right?
Correct.
From the plant.
It'll be made by Lacine Water Plant.
And is it a fairly new plant or?
It's
had a lot
not a
of upgrades.
brand new plant, but they just did a ton of money, they did
Yeah,
a
they
ton of
did a
upgrades.
USDA project as
USDA
well.
upgrades.
Yeah.
I refuse to drink the water since I moved here. I'd spend another $20
could be-
a month on drinking water. I buy 5 gallon
I could
jugs.
be wrong, but I do think that Lacine acquired a grant and loan to upgrade their water system
Oh,
for
okay.
our contract.
Oh, really?
That's a good point, Curtis. A lot of people don't drink the water.
Yeah, I use it to bathe in whatever water plants,
Well,
but I,
Here you get a letter with your bill, basically. that
we
says
just
it
got
doesn't-
one.
And the thing with that is more, it's not that the water's dirty, it's that the state keeps upping the requirement for how clean
You're
it's gotta be.
exactly right.
And they ding you on it. It's the way the state makes money, because they, every few years, they'll come out and go, we're gonna raise our water standards. Well, then, nobody's water's
sir.
right, so everybody's gotta borrow money from the state on loans and pay interest.
They do the same with
And-
sewer.
and
It's
the-
like, oh, you're killing everybody. You're like, I can't
Yeah.
kill anybody. You know, I've
The
got.
water's just as, that water's perfectly okay to drink, there's not a thing wrong with it.
I
But you
drink
get
it.
that
I
little
just,
letter
I
that
just know it coming
I
out of my
drink
tap.
water sitting in my
I
tank.
can tell you
Yeah,
on some days it's
that's
over
good.
chlorinated
That's
and
good.
other days.
If you're on the line.
I mean, I can tell the difference in smell from day to day, the water
Hopefully
that
you'll
comes
get-
out of my lines.
Yeah,
I'm on
hopefully
a
Well,
tank, so I
more
put a half a cup
consistent.
of bleach in every 1,000 gallons of water I get.
The other part of this project allowed us not to spend the about $250,000 worth of funds to upgrade that water plant over the last 4 or 5 years. Okay, you know what, because there's big upgrades that need to be made to it, probably exceeds that amount by now.
Probably
So,
several million.
you know, we
Oh,
were
it-
getting
it'd
away
be
with not
just
doing
whatever they
that.
estimated, double or triple it. Nothing since 2021 and 2022. I've got little teeny projects in Colorado that are looking at 16 and 17 million, and I'm just saying you can't afford it. Tell DNR you just can't do it.
Yeah, that's something I didn't even include in the expense of the, $70 worth of water, then another $30 worth of bottled water because we don't drink the water.
Yeah, this should be.
Because
These
it's
are-
going into a holding tank. It's not that I don't think the water's clean, but I do not know what the tank they just pulled that hose out of before mine has in it.
Was in it?
So,
That is true.
And that's a conversation we'll be in a minute when we go to talk about the ordinance, so. The dynamics of a recreation community. If you'll pull the data and you look at the data, although Robert, you know what, he's right, our summers seem to be more popular. We've had some big booms for water use in November. Some big booms for water use in December, so this recreational community is hard to predict. Okay, so, overwhelmingly hard to predict, so to be able to, and I know, again, My wife was gonna be one of them, not any happier about our water bill is gonna be doubling, you know, but there's gonna be a success story for others in this project. So, you know what,
I just wouldn't panic until summertime hits, on the Holden Hall numbers is all I'm saying. If those Holden Hall numbers are coming in looking way lower than we estimated, I wouldn't panic, because once summer hits, that can change just like that.
And
Because
these,
we've all seen them.
We've got temporary financing, it's in place for, 3 years. We're set, we're ready to move forward. USDA will take us out and start spending their grant money whenever we've finished spending our money. Our next project is, we have a special board meeting the 15th, is that right?
yes.
Um,
Is it the 15th? Special
Yes.
meeting, yeah.
And that is
For the-
for the sewer.
Yeah.
And it's to renew the sewer issue that comes due in June. And so that's the next one. It has come in $1 million less than what they predicted, maybe $2 million less. The sewer, so it's absolutely, it's dynamite.
Well,
So-
engineers wanna work off that money, don't get me wrong, but we'll.
No, they
but-
will.
But you know what, unlike the sewer project, to where we didn't have enough funds to proceed, this is not the case with the sewer. So, you know what,
So I
that's
will be
exactly the
back the
case.
15th, or someone on the team will be back the 15th.
But the other part of underestimation here was, think of this, think of how we underestimated a 1 cent sales tax for a fire truck.
Yeah, that's what the
By
state numbers were.
50%, I mean,
I'm
No,
not
no.
giving you 50% yet. Last month, yes, the month before, yes, but the other months were where you were estimating. So
Yeah.
it has come in strong.
yeah,
And it'll take care of it. You'll probably be able to pay off the fire truck early. And then you can go back to voters and say, let us do it again. It is, if you have another fire truck. Because if you do what you say you do, or you pay it off earlier, they tend to reward you with passing a sales tax election like that. And you could decide after that, as it rolls off, you could say, and you don't need a fire truck, you could say, we're gonna use the sales tax to pay for our water. So
Actually, I think we earmarked that only for public safety when we put it in place.
But it has a sunset.
yes.
Yes.
And so you
10
could,
years.
you could change it.
Yes.
And just ask, it's optional, but I don't wanna even go there. We will,
Let's pay for this one first.
yeah.
Yeah.
So, one other topic to tuck away, this is not a concern. You are growing so fast, at some point, you probably wanna think about getting a city manager. Right now, it's mayor and council. The mayor, in fact, is acting as a city manager. Sorry, Mayor. And it is a full-time job that you only get to use part-time at most. So it is something that, not now, but maybe down the road, think about changing to manager council type thing. Everything goes through the council. It's just, you are getting to be the size. It'll take a little more, but you're getting to be the size where you need to start thinking that way, thinking, do we need a professional manager in there to stay on top of these things? I don't need a professional manager. I can work great with the mayor and Mindy, easy enough. But most of my communities, when they start getting into the 1,500 population range to the 2,000 to the 3,000, have managers. Mound City does not. They're I think they just crossed the 1,000 mark, but they're growing. They were 700 forever people. So it's just something to tuck away. It doesn't happen to happen now. It is something that is very handy, but it can also be very expensive when you get used to it. So find a retired city manager that just wants to live near the lake. Anyway, that's all I've got for you tonight. Thank you. I don't need to stay around for the ordinance or
Joey,
the
appreciate it.
resolution.
We'll have this ready in resolution for the council maybe in the next meeting,
Perfect.
so that we can get the council to
And I'll be at the special meeting, but make sure we have a quorum at the special meeting.
do my best, do our best. We'll start calling
Perfect.
now, I guess.
Thank you, guys.
Joey, thank you.
I was just looking at what my usage over the last 3 months. So the most I've ever used was 3,000 and and 90, and that was $66. So I've actually been costing around $57, $58, and I'm on average about 26.60, 26.30. So under 2,700 gallons a month for around $57, $58 on average. So actually my bill's gonna go up a little too, but not as much as some of like your bill. I mean, it is gonna increase on mine, but on your part, it just sounds like you're gonna double.
But you won't be getting those letters warning you not to drink your water anymore.
No more of those letters?
With the mayor's name and number on it.
Well,
Oh, by the way, did you notice that?
and then
They put the
I might-
mayor's
I might
name
have
and
to-
number in the middle of that page.
Thank you all.
Joey, thank you, sir. Talk to you
Thank you.
later.
Thank you.
Drive safe.
Ready?
Well, guys, I hope everybody thought this was as peelable as I did, because I was really worried with Austin's rate, his first rate, what the engineer's rate thought it
I
was.
was gonna say it's $20 less than they
Was you,
said it was.
was it looking like it was gonna be even more than this?
Actually, everybody came in higher than this.
I think they said the average
Yeah.
was gonna have to be
Yeah.
$85 or something.
Wow.
85 or 86, yeah.
We arm wrestled for it.
Well,
I won one.
yeah.
All right, guys, let's just real quick go, we need to discuss the ordinance. I'm sorry that the council's not here, but a workshop is a workshop, and this will benefit you guys a lot. So, did you guys get copies of the ordinance? There should be some around for you, so you can follow along.
I don't need it. I
Okay.
can't make any decisions anyway.
I already read it.
One of the
Let's
things.
make decisions.
Yeah, one of the things the ordinance number 245 mentions here is in section 1, is that the city will have a superintendent of water and sewage. Okay, you'll notice that throughout this ordinance, you're gonna refer to the superintendent of water and sewage. And this person is just he's a manager, he's a person not as much to manage, but he's a person that can get work done. Example being, contractors. They don't have the privilege or the prerogative to go to a water valve and shut a water off, doesn't matter how long it's gonna take them to do something. You know, they can do it at the meter, but if they go to a valve, they have to contact the superintendent. You know, this is not something, I don't know that Mindy can wear too many more hats. Okay, so to make her the superintendent for the water and sewer when they're gonna control, the reason that 50,000 was so low in operations is because Mindy feels that she already has the administrative staff to cover the buildings. Okay, so your part-time water operator is pretty much what you're gonna pay for. And at $15 an hour, that's 3,200 and 32,800, 32,600, whatever it comes to, but it's still under 50 grand. But the superintendent of water is something, as an employee for 2026, is probably gonna be mandated. So, unless you choose to go in and take it out of the ordinance, okay? Regulations, I have nothing there that I would be worried about changing. Does anybody have anything they wanna ask or add to regulation? Section 3, service not guaranteed. Anything there, anybody wants to add? Or discuss? None of these things are unusual based on what other cities are doing. Okay, so there's nothing special going on here because we're Linn Valley. Service is not guaranteed. Any comments or any input based on that? Okay, section 4, services and connections required. I would like to read this one out loud so everybody clearly understands it. The owner of properties with existing water or sewer tanks, all houses, buildings, or properties used for human occupancy, employment, recreation, or other purpose situated within the city, abutting on any street, alley, or right-of-way in which there is now located or may in the future be within 100 feet of public water mains. So anybody who is within 100 feet of the water distribution system will be required to get on the water line. Required at his or her own expense to make connection to such public water main. Okay, here is where I believe the question that I have at hand here is, this makes it perfectly clear that the homeowner is responsible for the expense of this. The city's requirement to that should be parts, okay, that are required for this hookup. The city's not allowed to make money on this, you know, the city's only allowed to pass a cost. Now, we're gonna get to it in a little bit, but we're gonna go ahead and just throw this out here now so that we can start the conversation. And a conversation today with the engineers and the distributors of our water meters, the city will be allowed to buy water meters in 2026 for $350, and you have to buy 10 at a time. Okay, that'll be your cost. So as we're putting the resolution together for what the cost of a meter is going to cost, you know, guys, will merely be, you'll only need to pass the cost along, okay? As described right here, it defines that the homeowner is responsible for this. So they'd be responsible for the contracting of it, the construction of it, to pay for it.
So, question, if somebody is building something now,
Mhm.
and there's not a water main going up to where they are now, but they may be within 100 feet of the main, are they required at that point to pay for the line up to their house, or just the meter?
Pay for the line to the meter, pay for the meter in whole, and for the line from the meter to their house.
So
They
that, all that would be
responsible
on
for
their
all of it.
expense, okay.
Now, keep this in mind, and Joey was making these references to you. After 2026, and you've had your first year of historical data come in, and collections basically, you can take a look at this, and some cities may have different ordinances when it applies to this. Good example being, other cities will do, we will pay for the first 100 feet. Some cities are 200 feet. What is Overland Park? Because of your homeowners association thing up there. So there's a responsibility to install, and some cities will take that on. I don't know that it was part of this criteria based on we're worried about paying for a system right now, not giving you. Keep this in mind, don't give something away you don't have. Okay, right now we don't have anything here to give away. Okay, you know, 2026, your collections comes in at $735,000. Well, you know what, you exceeded it, and you have other opportunities there for the future. But for now, I believe that's why this was put in this format, is because we don't have anything to give away at this point. So, but I do think.
But can't make money on it means if the meter costs us $350, you can't charge the user $700 for the meter. You
Yeah.
can't make money off of it, you have to charge them exactly what it costs.
Any materials, anything comes out of for that project, so.
So these are all, what you're talking about, the cost to hook up and the meters, all what's being built, new homes being built.
Correct.
Okay.
It'd be anybody that is not currently doesn't have a line. So there are some places, if you look at where the lines are running, there are some places that there was nothing there when we put the project together, so they didn't even run a line up the road in some cases.
Yeah.
Now there are houses on that road, and that a line will have to be run to that home in order to get on it. They're not forced to if they're not within 100 feet now. If they want it, they have to pay for it to get it there.
So if they're not within 100 feet, they don't have to,
Right.
but if they are 100 feet, they have to.
Correct.
So, I do have a question, I hate to dread, so first, I had water and sewer hooked up at my home. Okay? There was no sewer ran across south Linn Valley Drive. So I had to pay an extra toll to my page. What I wanna know is now there is sewer there, does the person come by the lot next to me and then, wow, hey, I can just hook right up to it when I'm the only one that paid the extra $8,000 across the road? Or are they gonna be responsible for, excuse me, are they gonna be responsible for part of that fee as well? Or are they just gonna be able to book and then boom, they can just hook up now?
They just need to buy you a real nice
Well-
dinner now.
Well, they're gonna be more than that.
If it's part of the distribution main,
There's no walls on the books in Linn Valley? for
well,
that?
there is, and what you'll notice at the water, with the sewer, don't let it get off track a lot here, but with the sewer, what happens with the sewer is gonna be much what you do with a meter here. If Rural Water One puts a water meter in for you, you put, they'll run the water line and stuff, and then what you do, good example, Wally Hook, 2 roads over from me. His original building inspector in here 45 years ago. He's at the end of the road. He ran water all the way from Linn Valley Drive all the way to his house. He had to pay for every foot of that. After he paid for that, he in turn had to turn it over to the district. So when it comes to the forced main, or it comes to the distribution main, you do not own anything. You only owe you only are responsible from the line to your house.
All right, I hear it. I got hosed.
The city even owns those, keep this in mind, the city owns those chopping pumps. You paid for them, but the city owns them, so that's why the city's rebuilding them and replacing them. And the future for you guys could be, we're getting way off track, is to change that ordinance and make them property of the homeowners so that that expense is theirs. So, but, especially being as the project's paid for itself practically.
But based on where you're at and knowing the area you're talking about, your neighbor's going to have to spend some money to get the line run over to where your connection is.
Well, if they bought the lot next to me, they could just hook right up there, it's already set there.
No, they can't
They have
hook
to have their
you.
own well and meter and their own grinder pump.
Yeah, they have,
They have to have their own.
I
system.
realize that.
And that has to run over to
I
where
realize that, we
yeah.
all have that cost, but I paid an additional $8,000 on top
To
of
get
all
across the
that.
street, right.
Just to cross the street.
Right.
the
Just
distribution,
across the
sir,
street.
the distribution main is across the street. Your pump pumps to that main.
Yeah.
His pump will have to pump to that main too.
Yeah,
It
but
won't get to
now-
pump to your line.
They
Yeah.
can hook right to the sewer line right there by my house.
No,
Why-
they'll have to go across the street.
It's
again.
not part of the main. It's just a delivery, that is a
Also, they
delivery line.
would still have to go
Yes,
across
sir.
the road.
Yes, sir.
They'll have to cross the
So
road,
it'd be-
unless they ran a main across the road and down the road.
Which
I
Mike
see
probably,
that
which he
if they
probably
were-
didn't.
No.
Yeah, I'd be, okay, I see
Yeah,
what
I
you're
like
saying.
that smile, better smile.
I got
There you go.
I got you.
All right,
Makes
now we're
sense.
good.
I get it.
There we go. He didn't get hosed. We're good.
Well, I did.
Or as hosed, okay?
Because who you asked, but go ahead.
Oh. John, here's one that you would be interested in probably. Do you get him on with us?
No, it said the meeting started at 7. That's what I heard speaking. I'm trying to pull up my thing to see it, but.
Well, the meeting starts at, I
Did I
didn't,
put the wrong time on
It's
there?
close to
is
7.
that what you got?
No,
No, I can't get my.
I can go look.
Email come up.
Bugging me
No,
now.
no, it was 6 o'clock and I even had Lisa call everybody, try to call everybody. I don't know how it went, I just know.
Sometimes I can screw up.
So, John, real quick, one of the things,
That's they told me to be. They told me to be.
You had to be at 5.
Yeah, but
the only other, on this page, one of the other things that maybe we should discuss is the decommissioning of water tanks. First off, the ordinance requires a decommissioning of the tank. That means the homeowner will be responsible to disconnect that tank from their homes or from totally isolate it from the service. However, what is defined in this as a option here is all water tanks existing on properties making connection to public water main must be decommissioned. Decommissioning of tank shall be the owner's expense. Decommissioning a tank shall completely be disconnected from all plumbing. Then it would, the city reserves the right to inspect that. But here at the end, let's be clear with the decommissioning of tanks must be done in accordance with local, state, and federal laws. So if you wanted to use that tank for any other purpose than a water tank that it was designed for, you would probably have to get with an engineer, and an engineer would probably have to redesign a system that was held to hold water to a system that was designed to protect and shelter you from a storm. You know, and those tanks are 4 foot deep, and you know, they're really not designed for that. But just to tell people no, may not make a lot of sense, but it could come at a more, it just comes at a cost for them to define what they're gonna do. And your city doesn't have an engineer on staff is the reason why the attorney will require an engineering stamp.
What if it be used for, say, rainwater catching?
I think that was the reason why we've decided not to promote they had to be removed, was to allow everybody. John had brought this to our attention, especially it had to do with the big tank coming off the water plant, is that the state or the USDA will not require us to decommission and require the removal of them. So with that being said, why add that expense to homeowners right away? Give them an opportunity to do what they want with them. I guess.
The lady at the state said that the inspector, when you're hooking up stuff, has to have pictures showing that it's not hooked in anything.
You know, so as we're doing those things, Jamie, was there anything else? You said that we don't have anything local with it, so.
No, what we wrote down, you and I discussed is what,
Okay,
you've got it right there.
okay. Any other conversations to go with this?
Where are you at?
We're on section 4C.
In B, I would like to change where it says the applications go to the city clerk to go to Paige, because she will have it.
To Paige, or do we want it to go to the superintendent?
Where are you looking at? Under
B.
Okay.
what section?
4B.
B, 4B,
4B.
the application, because they're gonna have to get a permit too, and that application should be with the permit.
Yeah.
I mean, stay together,
So we'll change city clerk to.
building,
Cutting and codes clerk.
yeah. If they can give it to me, it's just gonna be me walking it over to Paige.
Okay,
Get your steps in.
Do
anything?
I look like I'm counting stuff?
What a rough crowd. Okay.
Maybe in January.
You wanna change it to the main writing to the city clerk comment or the city's designee, that way it gives you the ability to pick and choose who it's sent to.
Oh, sure.
That way you're not limiting to just to one or two people. When you put the city's designee, we can specify who it needs to go to at the time. But it's up to you, it doesn't matter to me. That just, it gives more leeway for you. or
Every
whoever to-
department has a substitute, you know, I mean, I don't
Yeah.
know, do we have to list the substitutes or
Well,
can
no,
we?
you don't. That's why I just said if you wanna change it to, or the city's designee, I mean, hell, that could mean a
Okay.
council member. It's just whoever the city decides it should be.
Okay, okay. Anything else there? Anything for C? After we kind of went through it, did you have anything? For the C
Oh, no.
category, okay. Application for service, did you have anything there? The same thing, change city clerk to codes?
Or just put city designee after that.
Okay. As we go through these things, you need to have workshops and you need to discuss this. Personnel is not allowed to go in and rewrite ordinances because they want to correct words. The only time ordinances get changed, corrected, or any of the amended is in a meeting. Okay, so as we talk about these things, they have to happen in the right process. You know what, it would be negligent of them to just redo things for the sake of fixing words. Because sometimes things accidentally get changed that we don't mean to change, so just, then again, that's why she's asking us to change them here. Okay, I think everything runs pretty smooth down to section 6. The city making connections. All taps shall be given street excavations made, corporation cocks inserted, pipes installed from main to curb, and curb cocks installed to the meter box to which the service pipe is to be connected by city employees, city operators, or whoever the city designates. And instead of it saying employees only, take only out.
Doesn't that contradict what it says up here, that they have to pay for all that? Or they have to do it?
They have to pay for it, it doesn't say they have to do it.
No,
Good,
no,
so
no,
it-
this here says the connection, example being, the city needs to be present when they tap into our main.
So we're gonna have like a certain contractor or
It
certain.
would be the superintendent. It would be your superintendent, it would be
You
that
don't just want
department.
anybody tapping into the main.
Right,
That's correct.
right, so is there gonna be,
The problem when making it a city employee is that makes it sound like any city employee can do it.
I can do it.
Well, see, that's just it. Lisa on her way home, somebody can wave her over and say, hey, we're gonna tap this hole. It only says you have to be present.
A designated city,
Does everybody think the same way I do with that?
Yeah,
And it needs to
like
be
you said,
very
because
specific.
You gotta leave it open. If we will come to points in time where we'll have to have a contractor go ahead and do it, because our people are not around for it. But they would have to be, we would have to be okay with it.
And that was how you wanted us to order it, wasn't it, Jamie?
Yes,
Okay.
that is. That way, John said it opens up and allows for some to come back and change it down the road.
Okay.
So, what are we doing? By a
Okay.
city employee or
Okay. Yeah,
or
right here.
designee? Okay.
Yeah, or designated, city designated. Section 7, this is where one of the resolutions will come in, guys, and it'll be connection fees. Okay, the city can charge a connection fee, but I don't know that the city needs to. What the city should want to do here is cover the cost of their equipment. Okay, so with that, the city will need to set a fee for this resolution, because we just can't go, well, we know the meters are $350 and we believe it'll be under $1,000. The resolution will require us to set a specific fee that we can't exceed. So with that, between now and the next meeting, I'll talk to the engineers again. We believe we have about $450 worth of parts, okay, to hook up a meter itself, and that doesn't include the running line or the connection, what are they calling that, connection T. So it doesn't include that. So we'll try to come up with a balance of how far do we think we would run a water line, maybe 50 feet, and you know, with the T on it, and put that cost there. And I actually think that $500 is probably going to be probably a respectable number at this point, unless we wanted to add 250 feet of water line to it, so. That has to be done in your resolution. Robert, you got anything with that one?
No,
Okay,
number 9 is the next one I had.
go ahead. Number 9, we need a word correction where it says officials or employees to whatever that
Turn.
put turn there.
Supposed to be turned.
Water on or off at the meter or curb, the key or any other manner in which holding written permission from the, right now it says mayor or governing body. These are not mayor or governing body responsibilities, these are a utility superintendent responsibility.
That was my one, and then number 2 is if I have a burst pipe in my home and it's Sunday evening and the contractor shows up, the plumber, that's charging me $500 an hour to come out and do the work, first thing they're gonna do is go shut it off at the meter.
They can do that.
Unless
Not
you
they get
install
No,
a
no, no, they cannot shut off the valve.
You need to install a
Okay.
shut off in your house. Can you not
It doesn't always happen at the house.
I
It
believe
just shuts the water off to your house, a valve shuts off a line.
Right, that's what I'm saying.
So,
Right.
This says meter or valve. So if I can't shut the water off at my meter to my house, and there's a problem with my line between my meter and my house, and I've got water shooting up out of the ground, I have to wait for the right person to come around and do it? That's,
I think that that does need to be changed to turn off,
or maybe they should have to
to
install
turn
a
on
shut
or
off.
off at the city water valve. Instead of make it sound like it's the public water meter, it's the city water valve.
But you still have to get a city employee out there to do it, so he's still waiting.
No, if he's saying the valve, that's different than the meter.
So,
Now, example being, only a contractor is gonna do this. Only a contractor, I'm gonna go out and shut it off at the water meter long before I call anybody. Stop my house from flooding.
Yeah.
Okay? Everyone's gonna do that. If you call a contractor and he wants to do some work, for whatever reasons, contractors are the one that's more likely to go to a valve and go, well, you know what, you got a little leak here too that I wanna fix it, but I can only do it. And how many times have you run around with those gate valves in their trucks? About all of them. So that's what I think we need to be protecting here, is the city water valves, not the individual meters, because that is your shut off to your home. Wouldn't you agree with that, Corey? So that is their home, so,
when I was doing remodeling on homes up in Kansas City, we went to the meter all the time to shut it off because there was always issues. Even if you shut off the shut-off valves, they didn't always work.
Well, with you installing
take the water meter out and add at city water valve. Make it plural, valves. Or curb, cock, shut off. That's also a valve. That's not a meter.
Yeah.
Okay. With a key or any other manner, okay, without first obtaining. Because see, the meter, you don't need a key, you just need a pair of pliers and a long arm to get to most of those. Jamie, you okay with that?
Yep.
Okay.
permission from supervisor or designee.
I would put utility superintendent or city. Because again, that's who we keep referring to from the beginning of this ordinance. Meters. All water furnished customers shall be metered. Any questions regarding that?
You know, my next one is clear down to 23, so.
Okay. Go to section 10 where it says meters, number C. It says the city's responsibility stops downstream of the water meter. Okay? What that means is the city's not responsible for the water going from that meter to your house because of that water line, or the water lines that are in your home, or the devices in your home. That could be rusty, calcium, whatever the case may be. Okay, so that covers that. My question to Jamie was, does this cover the Holden Hall? Jamie's recommending we add a D to this, and it should say the city's responsibility stops at the same point at the fill station. So once it comes through that meter, delivers into that tank, it's someone else's responsibility. If you was to put POA in the water business, you would have to write a HACCP program. That means you would have to tell them when they're gonna clean them trucks, how often they're gonna clean them trucks, how they're gonna store them trucks, what chemicals they're gonna use to clean those trucks with. I mean, you write they're very formal and difficult, but they're HACCP programs. And it's USDA and the FDA requires that so you don't poison people. Okay, so you don't want to be in the HACCP business. Okay, so I would recommend that we're done with this the minute it comes out of that fill station. So you can't sell bulk, so the POA will need to report to the city who they sell that water to, accountable in volume. Okay, see that, and it'll be counted in volume at your fill station. Okay, so as they go up to fill their truck with their card, you know what, again, it'll all get counted. So Jamie's recommended that we add that. Any problems or questions regarding adding that? And that's just to protect the city from, again, we have no idea what tanks look like. We got 30-year-old plus tanks in here. People are still putting water in. Okay, you know, so, I mean,
That's the reason I won't.
this has to do with, this is litigation. You know, this is how do we litigate it, and then how do we limit our liability. So these are the reason why Jamie has to be present with this stuff. Okay, testing. Anybody have questions with testing? Tampering with a meter. Number 13, leaks. Prohibited and then penalties. 14, disconnect, reconnect charge. Jamie, does that have to be in a fee schedule? That charge?
I would put one in it.
You would?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, so we create that in the fee schedule also.
Can we
Fine.
just add it to the one we have?
Yeah. Slow me down if you need to.
No, I'm good.
Okay. Utility deposit. Again, at the time of making the application for the service, the city, that would be the managers and operations would decide how much you will require them to put in deposit, if not 100%. Okay, so sometimes, here's what we discovered here this year. Mindy's had to write a policy to refund from that department because people jumped out and was gonna build a bunch of houses during the moratorium, and they wanted their money back. Okay, so, you know what, either which way, you know what, the city's accountability is, if they don't use it, you respectfully have to consider refunding it to them.
Should it say cash?
Less what the attorney will tell you you're allowed not to. What's that?
The only word in there I have issue with is cash.
What's that?
It
The
says,
cash deposit?
make a cash
Oh,
deposit.
yeah.
A deposit.
Yeah,
because,
I don't know, we probably ought to remove cash.
Yeah, just make a deposit.
So does that count for people that are being added to this from day one, or does that mean people in the future, or both?
For future.
The reason why it says cash deposit is if you just put a card on there, you could.
Walk away and cancel
You
it.
can, yeah, cancel your card, you got nothing. That's why cities do a cash deposit, which is not necessarily cash, but it can be a cashier's check.
yeah, yeah. Non-refundable deposit or something, yeah, something, yeah. And then we can,
Well, some cities actually do refund you if you pay your bill on time for like
Oh,
3
yeah.
years, then they'll send that deposit back.
Cash deposit, if I use a debit card, is that considered a cash deposit?
That is,
If I use a check, is that considered a cash deposit? If I use a credit card, is that
You can stop
considered a
payment
cash?
on anything.
Correct, I mean, that's a negotiable instrument, if you're talking true cash, it depends on how you're using terminology. When you talk about a check, it's an instrument, you talk about a debit card, credit card, using an instrument, you're talking about cash, that is cash.
But
You can
question-
define what cash means to say that that instrument is cash, but I'd be very careful.
You're not
doing that.
helping me here, Jamie.
I know, you asked, I'm just telling you.
Question at hand here, is who thinks it ought to, who thinks it should maintain and
Yes.
stay? Who thinks it needs to stay cash?
I just don't want down the road and then to say we only pay cash.
Cash.
Mindy, you wanna weigh in with this one, because you're the one that handles the money?
Actually, Paige handles the money. But, I mean, it's gonna get deposited the next day anyway.
Yeah. And it's not unreasonable for people to pay with cards and things like that, but there's risks in anything you do.
We run the cards here, so.
Correct. I mean, so,
yeah, so.
the question was, well,
take that
what's
back
cash
and just put
mean?
a
That's what
deposit.
cash means, but should people be able to use other forms of payment? Everywhere else does, I mean, so,
If you do cards, you charge a fee on top of that.
Yes, we do.
yes.
So yeah, we'll run the card here, so you already got that money. The cash and check are gonna get deposited in the bank anyway.
I'm not
I
saying-
think the relevancy of cash here is, it is what it is. How many people are actually gonna show up with cash? And if they don't show up cash, would you still take their payment?
Yeah,
Yes.
Okay. Okay,
I
so,
mean, to stop payment on a check might,
Okay.
that's $30 if they wanna spend.
okay,
And
all right,
it's
well,
actually a crime, all you do is send it down and they get a letter saying you either pay it or you get charged with a felony, so it's pretty easy.
okay. All right, guys, let's, we can go to utility deposit. I don't, does anybody have anything else, to section 20? Right of access is clear, wasting water is very clear, prohibited acts is very clear.
Are there like penalties, or is that something that has to be written in the future? Like, so what if somebody does something to their meter? Is that something that has to?
Actually, it'd be covered, it'd be covered under property vandalism
Crime.
and,
So there, I mean, we don't need to like,
Actually, I believe the UPOCs that we already adopt have a ordinance in there for tampering.
Correct.
Yes, sir.
so
That's
like
what it
piece,
is.
that piece,
Yeah,
okay.
you just write it under the standard municipal ordinance, yeah,
Okay.
you don't have to write a new one.
Depending on the damage, it could be a felony, so.
okay.
Section 23 is the next one I had a question about. but-
Yep, I'm gonna let you have that one. Section 20, rates. This will be in a resolution. Again, we'll have to adopt under a resolution the rates that Joey had brought to us. And again, we'll try to redefine it again to the council on, in the next meeting. And it would be nice to get this stuff handled before the new mayor and manager has to come in, and all these things are on top of everything he has to do, along with learning, learning what you're gonna be doing. So if we could get that done next month, you know what, I think it'd be a great benefit for this council and whole.
This month?
Huh? This month, I'm sorry, it's over. Yeah, yeah, my ass is out the door pretty quick, isn't it? Okay. 21, payments of bills. This also needs to be in a fee schedule. Okay?
Might want to change that date, cause I think Paige is gonna put sewer, if they have sewer and water,
If you wanna
Then-
change that day, now's the time to do it.
I don't know when it's due. I have to ask her. I just have mine debited.
I'm the same.
Well, you know what, if you do, you come up with that date before the next meeting, and when you redo this, when you retype this ordinance, put the date in there. I'm sure the council nor the governing mayor is gonna be concerned about billing dates based on, you know, you wanna do it on the 1st, the 5th, the 10th,
I
the
wanna say it's the
14th.
9th, but I'm not 100%.
You know,
Is
so,
that not on a 28-day schedule?
The sewer?
Yeah.
I don't know.
I don't have no idea.
what's that?
That side of the building.
28-day schedule instead of monthly is
Oh.
every 28 days, so there's actually points in
Oh, here
time
we
when.
It's the 9th. So can we change that to 9th?
I'll wait and see what you put on there. 9th sounds good. Okay. Let's go to 23. Robert had brought this up. Robert, go ahead and take it.
Hey, I got something to say about
Oh,
23.
okay.
Go ahead, Rob.
Well, I would likely be helping with the fire hopefully, but if I'm at home on the south side of the lake taking a shower and there's a fire on the north side of the lake, per this ordinance, I'm now violating the law.
Yeah, it says right here that if in an event the fire alarm, there's a fire and an alarm, you can't use water. Our system is not set up that way.
There's no way to enforce it because we have to have knowledge, so if you're over here taking a shower and there's a fire over there, it's not like fire department's gonna send a mass text out going, hey, we got a fire, shut all your damn stuff off. I mean,
That's why I'm wondering if
However-
section 23 even needs to be.
Actually, I think 23 should,
In my
we talked,
experience,
is-
if I'm filling up the fire truck and hooking it to a fire hydrant and you're in your shower, you're screwed, cause you're not gonna have any water. Cause I'm gonna get all the water, you're not gonna get it.
this section read, no person owning or occupying premises connected to the municipal water system shall use or allow to be used during a fire any water from the water system except for the purpose of extinguishing the fire. Upon sound of an alarm, it shall be the duty of every such person to see all water services are tightly closed and no water is in use except in extraordinary cases of emergency during the fire.
See, I told you we should've got
I
that
would
big
like
alarm.
to eliminate that entire paragraph and add, in an event of a fire or emergency, the fire department has the authority to use water from metered lots. Let me give you my example. Robert could be standing in his yard doing something, he could get a call. He could show up on scene 5-10 minutes before they could get to a truck and actually get the truck down there. It could be a leaf fire, and maybe it's a leaf fire that they've been out on earlier that day, or a big bonfire. But meanwhile, Robert's going, I'm waiting on a truck, I'm waiting on a truck, this thing is spreading. He can go next door, grab the neighbor's water hose, run next to where he's going, and try to combat that issue until the fire department gets there. That should not have to be defined, but I would recommend that we do that just for the sake of, who's paying for that water? Or who even knows what the conversation could be had, but you know what? This gives authority. Did you have a problem with that?
no, I mean, you have the authority if there's an emergency anyways, but I think it's important to define. And normally what happens is, in those situations, if somebody's really that worried about a little bit of water that the fire department had to use, they take the average of what somebody has, and if there's an overage on that 1 month, they pay the difference. But I mean, it's probably good to define that way. When there is an issue, cause you always get that, not to be mean, but you get that one Karen that that's the house that you guys end up going to, and that person has a fit, it's easier to have it defined versus having to send a letter going,
Yeah.
well, case law says this, statute says this, we're allowed to protect society, protect for the general welfare of the public. It's there, and all we have to do is just send that off and be done.
I concur,
So,
because there will be people that,
But
good
it's gonna be
catch.
the only one, it's the one place that you know they're gonna complain, and that's the one place that you're actually gonna have the fire or have the issue.
Good catch, Robert.
They don't
Okay,
complain when I hooked the fire truck up to that hydrant by the clubhouse. And nobody had any water.
now, it's a different issue if you pull the truck up, run the hose over from the neighbor and start filling the fire truck. That might be another conversation, but. All right, guys, let's knock this thing out. Section 25, I had nothing. This was protected backflow devices that are required. Number 26, inspection. The city superintendent or another designated person of the governing body shall have the right of entry to any building premises in the city as frequently as necessary in his or her judgment in order to ensure that the plumbing has been installed in accordance to the laws of the city so as to prevent the possibility of pollution of the water supply of the city. This here I highlighted because again, we bring in a title of a utility superintendent. You know, guys, we have been in the utility business for a while because of the low pressure sewer. Here real soon, you're gonna be in the utility business. You're gonna be in the water business. Whether it's a marking that we have to go do because somebody wants to build something, or whether it's actually to observe an installation or observe a connect. You know, we have to have this person, and this person should have the qualifications of such, you know, so,
There's a couple issues with the wording there, I think.
Should we take out governing body? Unless you're certified to inspect that plumbing's been installed in
Well,
accordance.
it's the designee of the governing body, is what it is.
Designee of the
so-
government, oh, got it.
But the reality is the governing body hires and fires, and they have that final authority, so, I mean, you could always
I got it.
take it out and just put the city utility superintendent and or designee, and or city designee. This is just more wordy that just says basically the governing body, which the governing body hires, fires, and takes who and does work. So it's basically the same thing.
But for the purpose of doing an inspection, I understand, but the way this is worded, they can walk in your house at any point in time. Say, I think there's plumbing leak here.
Well, yes and no. They have the authority to go do certain things, but there are restrictions of what someone can and can't do based on case law and based on statute. This is just giving them the authority to go do certain things. I mean, they can't show up and go, I'm coming in your house. I mean, codes doesn't even have that, technically even have that authority. Somebody can say no, even though some of the ordinances say that, hey, the codes has a right to go inspect and go in. If someone says no, then you have to file the action to be able to go into the property.
here's where the superintendent has come in very handy for the city. You know what, not only could he be utilized for water, but right now, you're looking at a sewer project, your low pressure sewer right now, okay, it's 10 years old. Grinder systems are going out of them, they're needing repaired. Mindy's husband's out on them all the time. You know what, this person could possibly rebuild these systems instead of us paying the contractor, Mike Page, to rebuild them out here at, I think they're about $600 a piece now, but to rebuild them, you know what, we could be rebuilding them in-house. You know, where could you be spending money and you could be saving money? So, anybody have any questions? Mindy, we could try, we'll do our very best to get this ordinance prepared and get the resolutions prepared for the next meeting. So, anyway, for those that are here, thank you very much, and
Send out a
done.
business card?
Next week, you mentioned.